In this video, I will show you how to set up different selection criteria for reports. To get started, let's look at a report that already has selection criteria set up. If I were to go to Open Orders, as you can see here, I can filter this report based on order date, customer name, and product ID. This is important if you know specific information and you're trying to find something a little bit faster. It's also useful if you're not really sure what you're looking for, but you have information to go off on. As you can see here, I can choose something this week, last month, last quarter, and you can go down here and you have before a certain date, after a certain date, and you can select these criteria to match what you're looking for. So I could go back to June 2018 and I can pull up all my orders for that. As you see here, I only have 2. You can also set up multiple selection criteria, and you can even have some that have a customer range. So you can have something between with a customer name, and you can pull up several customers. You can have something that's not included in or less than. So there's several other criteria you can pick depending on what you need. Now how to set up different selection criteria. To do this, we start by going File, Configuration Manager, Reports, Report Catalog. From here, I'm going to open up the purchase orders, and then I'm going to select the Open Purchase Order by month. Now, as you can see here, there's no selection criteria set up, which means whenever I open up this report, I don't have any of those filters that I showed you earlier. But you can add those by going to Edit, and then you select your field. This is going to be the criteria that you're going to search on. And these are all of the tables within this database that's used on the report. So for instance, if I want to add the purchase order number, I would go down to PO number. And select it. This type is the data type that's related to this field. That's going to populate automatically, and you can just leave that alone. But you can always modify this report criteria right here. This is how it's going to view in the selection criteria window. So maybe you just want number, or maybe you want both PO number. And you would check required if it's a field that has to be filled out in order for the report to run. I'm also going to add warehouse by going to PO, warehouse, and I also want to have the product ID. Now, some of these, as you can see, are in multiple locations. So I could have this PO number here. You just need to select it from one of the locations. I'm going to select the product ID. Now I also want the date it was entered. So for this, I'm going to go to PO, date entered, and then I'm going to push save. If you have any questions on which fields to use, contact support for further information.